Okay, hey guys, my name is Gregor. Anybody wants me to pronounce my last name, or can we just go beyond that? Gregor V. Okay, I work for Knowledge Services in Aerohive Networks. If you want to know what Knowledge Services is, stick to my presentation tomorrow, because it's a long description. It's part of marketing, right? We also use crayons and pretty colors and everything, try to make a meaning of it. So the title of my presentation today is Wi-Fi and the Internet of Things. So anybody heard of this IoT abbreviation before? Who's heard about it? Who knows what it is? Can you tell me what it is? Right? So let's look at this just from a perspective of the scale. So when we use the IoT, Internet of Things, we usually think about all of the little nice home appliances that are connected to Wi-Fi for convenience sake, like your Nest thermostat or your smart fridge, your smart whatever. And that would be a circle over here in the grand scheme of the Internet of Things. Now, remember, I'm marketing, so I'm going to start throwing a couple of numbers out. And I may mix them, but it doesn't make any difference. You had a couple of analyst firms trying to predict what's the size of the IoT market, so all of it, right? So you had Cisco, you had Gartner, and you had I don't know who else, and they were quoting that by 2020 this will be either a 25 billion, a 50 billion, or 75 billion market. Now, the difference in between the numbers is big, but it's really irrelevant. What you have to remember is it's huge, right? You know the Wi-Fi market? You don't see it in the scale of that, right? So that's the Internet of Things. So if I put it in the other perspective, which I like even better, this has been done by Beecham Research, so they try to categorize all the Internet of Things that being used around, and they separate it in a couple of verticals, like retail, IT networks, transportations, and usually we live in a small space. That is that. Saying that, Wi-Fi as a carrier, as a connection method, because it's free, it's easy, it's cheap, it's predictable, it's open standard, it's often a choice of connectivity for the IoT. Now, a lot of these things, when they will be connecting to any mission-critical networks, even though the Wi-Fi, you have some integrations in the mission-critical networks, you will see the connectivity also via LTE, 3G or whatever, or wired and all kinds of medium, right? So IoT. I'll be discussing IoT from the perspective of the enterprise vendors. So we have a couple of vendor representatives here, and we have a different perspective of what Wi-Fi is. Even if you look at the access points that you can go into the shop and buy, right? You have the consumer access points, or you can go to your local integrator and buy the enterprise. The perspective is different. The difference is because we are looking at the things of how to manage, how to predict, how to scale the Wi-Fi more than one room, more than one house. We're not talking about one access points and 10 clients or 15 clients. We're not talking about 100. We're talking a potential thousands, right? We have Cas before, he has 12,000 of these in the network. And we know how to manage this. It's okay, we're growing bigger, better apps, bigger demand. But IoT is this. It scares the crap out of me. You can edit this later, right? This is IoT. We don't know what it is, and it's being brought into your network. The same as with your bring your own device. Did you know, or do you know when did the bring your own device started? The first thing, bring your own device, we've heard about it for the last couple of years. It's been around since ever, right? It's a device that was meant for a consumer space, brought into the enterprise, and for the longest time we just said no. Then we said hell no, then we fight it, and by the end of the day, because of the popularity of the devices and everything, your IT director or the director or manager just said, deal with it, right? So we have it on the network, you like it or not. The IBMs, Apples, the biggest enterprises in this world, they have bring your own devices with all of the security issues tagged along here. IoT is the same thing, because that will have Wi-Fi, that will have Wi-Fi, this will have Wi-Fi, my shoe will have Wi-Fi, everything has Wi-Fi, right? And it brings a couple of problematic areas within it. So I'll focus this because it's a 10-minute talk and I have 15 minutes. From a perspective, from a couple of perspectives. So first is performance, right? And these are in no particular order, it's just a brain dump, right? So the limitation that I see in the Internet of Things is Wi-Fi chipsets, device management, bad product implementation, operating system maturity, and the protocol by itself. So again, you can mix and put it in any order that you want. So if you start from the Wi-Fi chipsets, how quality of a chipset is in your particular IoT device? Who's been designing or deploying into any healthcare or aviation? Do you like Wi-Fi clients in healthcare or aviation or retail? They're in beep, right? They're not that good. And now bringing this to en masse, you have the development boards and everything already ready and designed, so your programmer who knows nothing or cares nothing about even the network step, let alone the physical and the layer, he's implementing this. It's bad. It's worse. There is no standardization around this yet. So this is number one. The next one, the lack of device management. Right? They all have a great idea. I will simplify people's life because when they go in home and they will walk in and the lights will shut down and everything, yeah, try putting that in, because it's the same lighting system that's going to go in the hospitals, because the order will buy them not knowing that there's Wi-Fi. You'll have it there, right? How to manage those devices. Now, a lot of things can be hooked directly to the operating system, right? The bad thing is one of the best operating systems like iOS that has matured tremendously over the years. You will not find them on this, so it's usually running some sort of Linux or Unix flavor, which again has a problem because it can be very good or very bad, and based on the time spent, it will be very bad, right? Which comes into bad product implementation. Trying to make something cheap will not make it good. And then the protocol by itself. The protocol was never designed around supporting potential 1,000 devices in a cell. And this is what you're gonna get when you start implementing all of the Internet of Things. So I have no answer for this, right? There is no one is the just normal progress as we go, as we have the problems, we tend to design and provide with better solutions. We definitely need some standardization around devices, beyond just how they act in the protocol stack, but providing hooks so we, from the network perspective, can manage them, right? One of these things. And then we have this, right? And security is another big thing, right? And security is anything, it's not just one. When you're talking about Wi-Fi, everybody just gets and drops into, yes, it's the 802.11 and you have .1x on top of it, and you can define what kind of attacks you can have on the networks. If I have a device there and I can get the device in my hand, I'll never spend 1 minute hacking into Wi-Fi. I'll open it up. Usually there's a UART connector in there. They're cheap devices. They're not thinking about security. Connect to it. Some sort of terminal. You can reverse engineer it and you can hack in seconds. right? So Wi-Fi, it's not the only stuff, but overall, this is where it goes to the product implementation. So now think about this. In here, this is an enterprise. How hard it is to get to a device that will have a Wi-Fi, this is it, and hack into it. No problem whatsoever. And it goes the same from the protocol stacks and then application stacks and everything beyond. So this is one of the things. But if we boil down just to a small subset of the security issues that we have here, neither WPA2 PSK can handle IoT. Any ideas why? No way in hell you can provision this in a secure manner to thousands of devices. There's a couple of things that a couple of vendors do, but right, no vendors. And what's the problem with the WPA2 Enterprise or .1x? Right. The framework supports a good enough, from the perspective of that security, it provides a good way of securing your network. The problem is, it's complex. When you have complexity, designing for a thermostat, nobody will think about client-side certificate, server-side certificate, making sure how to provision that, making sure that you have the end-to-end chain secure. So it's too complex to be practical, right? I would recommend you, there's Matthew Guess had a nice presentation about the new way of security, which is, again, a topic for more than 10 minutes. So there are things that we're looking at. And also beyond Wi-Fi, it's discussion about directly encrypting things in hardware, so you'll get direct end-to-end communication, then regardless of the protocol, you'll get it. But again, complexity, 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 bah, I'll just do it, ignorance, we're all good, right? So again, solution to security issues, I think, as always, we'll have to get burned to learn and then just make it better. Just make sure that you understand that you will not have the control of saying no to the IoT devices, right? So expect a lot more walking around, not just doing the designs, but hunting down the devices, trying to, if not else, cut out the wires to Wi-Fi. But if that doesn't, making them at least access your network so you have sort of a control over it. Okay? So 10+ minutes.
Thanks, Gregor. And when's your session tomorrow?
I think I start today. Morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
First thing tomorrow morning in here, CCI.
Yeah, which means that I'll be cranky in the morning. So you have to agree with
Feed
me,
him
even
beers
though
tonight. Lots of beers, he won't be cranky.
Quick question. So is Wi-Fi the right technology for IoT?
yes. No. Maybe. Yeah. It depends what are you looking at. Right, so if you're into specific vertical, so let's say that you're running a multi-million business in manufacturing, where just a micron of mistake has a direct impact on your return on investment, that I suppose using Wi-Fi will not be a good idea, right? But as of overall price to performance, usability, ease of access, open standard, Wi-Fi will be out there, because it's an easy answer, right?
Okay. Thank you.